Today, Luke has got yet another story about his Uncle Fred, and it's yet another pass-post bet. He spotted another procedural weakness and took advantage of it in a really imaginative way. So let's hand over to Luke and listen to how Fred beat the jar.
There was no running on Lorry Bush at the time, right? But there was a chap who would take bets. I mentioned him on Pit Bottom in previous ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the Druid pub, which was the most popular pub in Hollywood out of the two, the Druid was a popular pub where most people went to, and especially in the daytime.
Yeah.
Right, so he had an arrangement with the landlady of the hotel, of the Druid pub, that she would take bets for him.
Right.
Now, you would write a bet out, you would give it over the bar to Sally.
Right.
There's a poem about her that our friend wrote later, we'll do that later on.
Right.
You would write a bet out, you would give it to Sally, and Sally had behind the bar, she had a wooden crate.
Right.
And she had a jar on the top shelf. And she would stand on the wooden crate and drop your betting slip into the jar.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when the chap who was taking the bets came down to the pub at the end of the day, a stop tap, whatever, the end of the racing day, you'd have the jar.
Yeah.
And then he would tip all the bets out.
Yeah.
All the slips out. And he would throw them. And of course he knew, like, the non-diplomas that we spoke about before.
Right.
Okay, so then he would put the bets out and there'd be no money.
So Sally wouldn't actually take money.
No.
She just takes slips.
Take slips.
Right, okay.
You'd owe for the bet.
Right, okay.
Okay, so when he came down then, Tommy, he would tip all the bets out. All the slips out of the jar. You'd have the jar down and he would tip, and then he would sort out.
Right.
Winners, losers, whatever.
Yeah.
And he would say, like, non-the-plume eel owes me £1 or whatever. Because she got 2 bets a year, 50 pence each, well, 10 shillings each at the time, whatever. Both losers, she owes me £1.
Right.
And then you would pay him for you owed him.
Yeah.
He would come and collect the money off you the next day or whatever, or the evening time. And he would either pay you out on what you'd won, or you would collect what you owed.
Right.
That was the system. Right, so our Fred thought, it's pretty lackadaisical, this jar.
Yeah.
But to get at the jar, you'd have to reach right over the bar to the top shelf. So that's not...
Of course.
You can't do that, can you? Everybody's in there in the bar, whatever, they can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Sally's behind the bar.
Yeah.
Right. But at the side of the bar, separate, this is the actual saloon bar here now, and the bar's there. But by the side there was a doorway to go out into the passage into the rest of the pub.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So Fred started using a stick. He made out he had a...
Yeah.
So he's using this stick for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right. And he's regular to do it. He's like competent to do it.
Right. Okay.
And anyway, so he's using a stick. I've got a bit of a bad leg too. So in the end, nobody taking our Fred's on a stick, isn't he?
Right.
Right. So what he done was he fashioned a pin in the bottom of the stick, just temporarily, right? And you used to write your slips on your own piece of paper. And you know paper where you would have like, it would be on a little spindle at the top, like a little pad would be on a spindle.
Yes,
and you'd rip it off.
yeah.
Right, so he had one of them. So he'd rip it off on the spindle.
Yeah.
So as he could put the pin through a hole.
Right.
It wouldn't be noticeable because there's a load of them on the end.
Yeah.
Right. So he's having the results, isn't he? So he wrote out a winning slip.
Yeah.
Onto this piece of paper and went out to waited for Sally to go from behind the bar because she would perhaps put her father owned a pub, and she would perhaps be putting food for her father or something like that, and she would be back and forth behind the bar.
Yeah.
So you'd wait for him to go out to see to something. Then he went out, stuck his slip onto his pin, went up the passage, leaned over and dropped his slip into the jar.
So the other drinkers couldn't see
No.
him from where he was doing
No,
it?
no, no.
Right.
Very bad luck, they would see the stick going into the jar up there. But all he just says, overlipped the jar and down.
Yeah, yeah, just, yeah.
And it worked. But he never done it again. He said it's too precarious.
Right.
Because if somebody been leaning onto the bar,
yeah,
they might
yeah.
have seen him. Sally come back, then she might have seen him. It worked. But it was too dodgy, so he abandoned it. But he did do it, but he only did it once. Yeah.
The fact that he feigned needing to use the stick.
Yes, and like, if he'd introduced that stick and not our betting at the same day, well, probably nobody would have thought anything, but he used the stick for perhaps a couple of weeks, so nobody took any notice of this. They were players on a stick, like he got a bad leg, you know.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's clever, wasn't he?